It's very important not to have a sense of entitlement, because you're most likely not going to get a call back, first of all, for that role. And when you do get a call back, you're most likely not going to move from stage to stage. Have that at the back of your mind. That's as sure as tax. Even in your country, if you're Igbo and you're applying for jobs in Yoruba land, there'll be biases against you. If you're Yoruba and you're applying for jobs in Igbo land, or Hausa land or whatever, there's biases everywhere. You understand? Like every country in Europe, in Dubai, like everywhere, there's biases. Like there was a time people used to say, "Oh, Zenith Bank is a bank for Igbo people." Like, oh, if you're Igbo, everybody's Igbo and light skinned, and it's and it's everybody's right. That's just human nature. So in Canada, no this and no peace. You can apply. That's the underlying logic behind volumes, because this faces this is not the standard look that hiring manager wants on their team. This is not when the guy is thinking of this amazing performer on my team. Because if you've been a manager before in your country, you at the back of your mind you have that ideal, talent that's this kind of person I'm looking for. Maybe somebody that went to Covenant or that went to University of Port Harcourt, federal schools. You know the way Nigeria is now, federal schools, then private schools, Covenants, Babcock, Redeemers. Once they see those CVs, they're already happy. Then if you did your masters in the UK or Canada, that's the ideal. So they put those ones in that. Okay, these are the people I'll call back first. That's also a bias. What happened to the person that went to Akure State, Ado Ekiti University? What happened to that person? That person is going to experience a bias as well, right? So if you've been a hiring manager before, you already know that at the back of your mind, you have this ideal of who you want on your team. Whether it's a biased ideal or not, most of these biases are subconscious, they're unconscious biases. So when you come to Canada, there's already a bias against you. You're not the ideal. Look at you, you're black. You're not just black, you're black African. You have this weird accent. You're at the bottom of the bar. Everybody's above the black African. You're at the bottom. So that's the reality. So know that and know peace, because it's good to know what you're fighting against. It's good to know your enemy so you can strategize accordingly. That's the logic behind volumes, because you will always win with hard. This is so it's shocking to us, like because we are used to being the alphas. Nigerians have what's the they call that thing? Main character energy, especially those that maybe grew up in Lagos or lived in Lagos. You just feel like you. But here, nobody send you. So we're grappling with it. You have to embrace that fact, first of all, that you're going to think about how you got the job you're currently in. If it's, if maybe it's like a proper job, maybe not a customer service job, like, a job that you really want, like, Carla says she's an accountant, for example. Think about how you got that job. It wasn't handed over to you. You probably prayed for it. You probably started with a transition. The job was probably like a miracle, which is why sometimes we hold on to these jobs for so long, because we know how crazy it is to get another job. So know that it's going to be hard for you to get a job. Just know that first. Embrace it. Know the facts. Because Sugar just said there's biases. That's normal. Like right now, when I go for interviews, I'm very confident in my space. I'm in product marketing. I honestly feel very few people can do product marketing better than me in the world. That's my energy. That's my belief. And that's the energy I take into these interviews. But I will still go to an interview, kill it, and I won't get a call back. And that's normal. I expect it, I anticipate it, and I'm fine with it. So that's normal. Embrace that. That is our new reality. You didn't school for, you didn't graduate from Harvard, you didn't graduate from Columbia, you didn't graduate from Watson, you didn't graduate from like all these top schools, even U of T here. Do you have 100K to go and graduate from U of T for 2 years? All these schools, right? I'm starting with the with the sad truth, because I want us. It's not all gloom and doom. I know it sounded like gloom and doom, but that is the harsh reality. Embrace that. Once you embrace that, the way forward now becomes, how do I navigate this? And I've talked about this before. You have to position yourself as someone that this hiring manager wants to meet, or this recruiter wants to move to the next level. And what that means is, I say to people, your CV must scream, I'm black with a difference. Or your CV must scream global. I used this phrase the other day, global talents. You're not just Nigeria, you're a global talent. So when you write your resume, does your resume impress you? Like, do you look at this resume and be like, who be this? Like accountants, Bukola, I think Bukola is the accountant. When you write your resume, does that resume look, does your husband look at the resume and be like, Bukola, now you get this CV? That must be the reaction. If, like, the CV must shock you. If you not shock, you don't go shock recruiter. It will not shock the recruiter, and it will not shock. Sometimes it may even shock the recruiter. And some recruiters, they don't really have sense like that. They could just you will bamboozle them. Then recruiters will be like, oh, looks good. I'll take the notes of this conversation on your resume and move it to the hiring manager. And I'll come back to you next week. Ghost mode. That's because the CV, it bullied the recruiter small, but the hiring manager is the subject matter expert. They will see through you. If the CV guys the guys gotta, like, the CV must carry weight. If it's not impressing you and those around you, like my CV, I put CV like, hey, Timmy, now, wow, how far now? I'm on the hustle. The CV must pack a punch. Guess what? Because even with that punch the CV is packing, it's still not going to bamboozle everyone. I got this start one time from a YouTube video that I watched. I was talking about immigrants and whatnot, and it says that in the global West, a third of everyone you meet is openly racist. Another third is unconsciously racist. They don't know, but they are. There's a third that is open-minded. They don't love you. They are open-minded. So what that means is, as an immigrant, for every person you meet, every opportunity you get, you have a 33% chance of potentially gaining that opportunity strictly for bias reasons, because you're in another man's land. Doesn't matter if you went to Harvard, it doesn't matter, like a 33%. So every time you apply for a job or you explore an opportunity, you have already lost 67% of the points. That is your reality. Embrace it. Now you won't come here. If you go back to Lagos right now, Access Bank go they fight for you. An MTN, like, wow, you did your MBA, University of Calgary, you did your master. They go they rush you. You just jump to the top with your accent, with your swag. But now you one day here. That's also my reality. Because people have told me so in the past that, oh, I'm not, what's the word? I'm not sensitive to the struggle. But I'm an immigrant too. When I'm telling people that they're not serious, they're not working hard, they say I'm not sensitive to the realities of immigrants. But I'm an immigrant too. I was telling someone I was coaching a few days ago that by this time last year, this is October 18. I mean, I used to talk to Banker a lot, like last year. Yeah, this is October 18. I was probably depressed around this time last year. I think I went through a lot. Because when I did Lagos, bro, I was this for like 15. I get serious savings. I was good. Even from your family point of view, like my wife, I used to tell her with my future, like, you don't have to work if you don't want to work. Like, I was good. I don't work for like 15 years. I was good. If I no work for 10 to 15 years, bro, I no good. I won't be hungry. And then I moved to this land. I'm just trying to give people that backstory because people think, oh, me, I'm not sensitive in the kind of, but I'm just a realist. You have to look at the lay of the land, and see what you're up against. That's how wars are won. You have to look at, what do I have? What don't I have? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And then you plan a course of action. So we're at war. You guys need to realize you need to take this thing seriously. Sometimes it feels like I take it too seriously. When I'm coaching people, people, a lot of people don't take this thing seriously, just taking it with kids' gloves. You're not going to get those results you want if you're not taking it as serious as a heart attack. So I left all of that. Amazed. This is my land. Every meeting, like, I'm strictly engaging with C levels. I know how to network with them. Culturally, You know these people, then you come to this line, you don't know anything. You don't even know how to engage, you know how to network. You're trying to figure it out. So what? And naturally, you're going to experience, depression, mental health issues. But you have to, toughen yourself and fight through that. You can't give in to your challenges because you're going to have those challenges for the first few years. It's just normal. Even to grapple with that for a while. So even before you get a job, it's the same thing. So you have to understand these challenges. First of all, going in, not everyone is going to call you back, even when you've worked on that CV and that CV is dope. That's why that's the logic for 10 a day, the logic for 200 to 250, because out of that 200, from the data I gave you guys, only a third would even seriously consider you. That's 33%. And Canadians have their own numbers. Non-African blacks have this thread was very detailed and was actual research which referenced data and sources. So those are your realities. So if you're doing 5 a month, I think that's what Bukola said. Like you're with all due respect, like you're still you still love this. You're like you're not trying. You're like not trying is even you're not looking for a job yet. You're just flirting with the idea. You can't do 5 a day. You can't do 5 a month. You can't do 20 a month. And of all the people that I've spoken to, like I always say, the vast majority are in that 30 to 40 a month. And by the time we even review that CV, the CV, if you know, even it's probably not packing a punch. So all those things affect your conversion rates because there are biases against you. That's just the fact. That's the norm. Embrace it. Not everyone is going to call you back, no matter how amazing you are. I spoke to this lady yesterday. She said, "I get rejection mails, and it's discouraging. Rejection mails cannot discourage you. You have to be tougher than that." I don't even notice rejection mails anymore because I expect it. I expect everybody to reject me. Out of my 200, I say to people, like right now, I do minimum of 20 interviews every month. I know those 20 interviews are gonna come, so I don't care about the rejections. I'm gonna get like over 200 rejections. That's okay. I just need my 20 interviews to come in. So I don't even look out for rejections. They just pass through my emails, and I don't even like. I'm immune to them by now. That has to be the way you're working. You're emotionally attached to rejections because you're not applying enough, and you're expecting every application to to give you a callback. They are not, and embrace it. You're not getting a callback. Only a few, a very very minute few. That's your reality. Even when you've worked in kind of like there was this dude I spoke to, great job, he did his master's at University of Calgary. He's an engineer. He's worked for like 4 years, but he's trying to change his job. And he said that when he got his job, he really struggled. So he's thinking, now I've been here 4 years, masters, I have certifications. So why is these people still not calling me back? I get few interviews, and even these interviews are not converting to the next stage. And I'm like, in the last 4 years, did you change your skin? Like, did you change, the way you sound? It's nothing against Canadians. It's just the reality of humanity. Everybody prefers their kind, even in your country. It's normal. Even in rap battles, you see, rappers would, shout out like their own city. That know what happened? East Coast, West Coast beefs back in the day. Tupac. Do you understand? It's just human nature. Like human beings prefer the familiar. That's why we don't even venture out of our comfort zone. That's why relocating abroad is hard. That's why changing jobs is hard. Everybody just prefers, the known, the familiar. It's normal. So I feel like I've belabored that point, but I just really want us to get it. Because that's literally why it's hard. Because, like I said, your country is worse. So your country is worse. Your country doesn't even give out residency the way that they share them for this Canada. They don't. Not stuck up. Do you know how hard it is to become a Nigerian citizen? Bruh, it's freaking hard. So you take a taste of your own medicine. Like your country is way harder. If not that, Nigerians like, like maybe like white people. It's also hard as immigrant, like all these foreign neighboring African countries. It's so hard. Do you think they're going to give a Ghanaian or a Senegalese or a Cameroonian job over you for Lagos? It's not possible. It's just like how. So it's just normal. Embrace it. It's life. That's the first step. Because once you embrace that first step, rejections will not mean anything to you anymore because you're going to expect it. So now you've worked on this amazing CV. It's fantastic. You're applying. So we're going to get to the main gist, but it's good for us to line up everything that's going to happen. Great CV, right? Like I said, that CV, you must look at the CV and it must shake you. That in itself is a task. You have to figure out, how do I make this happen? My CV, my LinkedIn. Once people hit my LinkedIn, they must be like, "Ooh, okay, who's this person?" You must stand out because there's already a bias against you. So you must flip that bias on its head. When they meet you, they should be shocked. Your resume must make them surprised, like, "Oh, wow, okay, this person can have this type of solid experience, even though they are black. Oh, wow, let me meet them." First step, and that must happen a lot of times because, like I said, when people say their interviews are not converting, that's also normal. Your interviews will not just convert. It's the same 33% opportunity, and now that 33% competence will now even determine whether it would drop down. And the numbers are less than 10% for interview conversion rates. Less than 10%. So it is the norm that you will not move, you will not do well in your interviews. Just know that and no peace. So to move from stage to stage in your interview, you must deploy a very intentional strategy. You must, like, first thing I tell to people is, if I ask you, tell me, like, people that come in the evenings and say, "Oh, I'm not doing well in my interview," that's the first thing. If I ask you, tell me about yourself right now, can you answer? Everybody goes, I have to go and prepare. So that's the problem. Because you see that pitch. It's like when you're banker, I'm going to come to you. It's like when you're an entrepreneur, like a startup founder. You know how they say everywhere you're going, you don't know where you're going to meet. So you need to have that your pitch, your elevator pitch. It must just be at the top of your head. That's how you know you've rehearsed that story. You know that story is strong because you've belabored it. You don't sit down. You've prepped on that story. So you're ready anytime. So if I ask you now, accountant Bukola, tell me about yourself. Are you going to give me a very articulate, solid pitch? Probably not. That's because you've not worked on it. You've not been late. Even when you're doing presentations in the workplace, they'll say, "Oh, stay in front of the mirror. Make sure you're very comfortable with the slides." All of that. So that's even like your first step. You must do a lot of prep to stand out because you're an endangered species in this country. You must really stand out. You don't want to know how many final stages I've gotten to because every time you get to final stage, maybe there's three other people. So why should they give you the job? You're competent, you're everything, but they might still because that other person is competent. I said to people, an interview is a competition. There was one of the finals in athletics, like the 100 meter dash, that both at the time, a false started, so he was disqualified. Can't remember who would, there was the other guy that won because both, obviously, he didn't show up that day based on he was disqualified. That's what made that guy get gold. So it's not that that guy is not good. The guy is good, but both is just otherworldly. Like both is just another level. So it's not about you. I keep telling people it's not personal. It's not about you. You might be amazing, but it's just someone else that's equally amazing and fits, has the right look again, which is normal because that happens in every land. There's so many interviews they will give me one. Even so, who was that person? Someone I was looking at is like, who was that person? That they even put him on the call to explain to him. Yeah, it was Felusha. Very Felicia score. That they put him on the call to explain to him, oh, you're so sorry, you're such a solid candidate, but you're second. If only we're hiring, two people would have hired you. Because there are other small things you can't control. That has happened to me multiple times. Final stage with Coursera, um, Motorola. They called me on a call to explain to me. Yeah, like, nice one, nice one. Like I don't expect to get the job. I just keep applying, keep interviewing, because I know one will click eventually. And I say to people, it's like 3 months, max 4 months, 3 to 4 months, sometimes 2.5 months. You just keep pushing. Rejections will come. It's normal. But you see those 3 to 4 months, you have to be as serious as a heart attack, doing 20 interviews every month, showing up for all of those interviews like you know, like it's life and death. Very few of us are taking it that seriously. Even with that life and death seriousness, Baba, you just reach final stage. Rejections are normal. They're gonna reject you. It's okay. They're gonna reject you. You just need one, but you have to hang in there, right? So that prep, you put in all of that prep for the interview, and then you're consistently showing up every day, every day, every day, every day. You will get rejections. Rejections cannot phase you. They must not phase you because they will happen. Like, just know, like I already said, just because of the way you speak, the way you look, the fact that you're in another man's land, 67% have already rejected you before you even started. Know that and no peace. So for every 100 applications you do, you're already going to get 67 rejections just because. Embrace that as your norm. It's only going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more resilient. This is not your land. For every opportunity you get, you have to work twice as hard, maybe 3 times as hard for it. Embrace that, because that will make you ready to put in the work. That's the first most important thing, because it's a mental game. You can't give up. You can't get tired. You can't get faced by the rejections. You've done 20 interviews, you've not gotten an offer. That's normal. That is normal. Especially if you're putting in all the work, or if it's just you messing up, then it's your fault. But when you're showing up the right way and you're still not getting those results, that's normal. It could be the 25th one that will turn into the offer. That's how I grind. You just have to be like, just keep going. You need to have coconut head. You have to keep hitting your head against the wall. You can't be cute about it. You can't be cool about it. Like, I'm applying shy. I did like 5 applications this month. Those numbers, or 20 this month, those numbers shock me because I'm like, is Carney your uncle? Like I did 25 last month, and I've been doing 25 for the last 6 months. Don't know what's going on. I do like, because that 25 in 6 months is 150. That's my 2 weeks. It's your work rate. Your 6 months is my 2 weeks. I keep referencing the lady that said she got laid off at, I think, Survey Monkey. I don't know if you guys remember, on the group. In like, I think she said 4 or 5 weeks, she did 500 applications. And then she got a job in 6 weeks. Those are like 750 applications. That's another person's 7 months. That she wake up in the morning, customize. So she didn't even tell us. Now, after she don't get the job, she now told us she was laid off. Everyone was like, oh my God, we're so sorry. Then in the same breath, we're like, but she's got another one. But, oh my God, congratulations. But you don't know what happened. I mean, she told us, but we don't internalize it. You know what it means to do 600, 700 customized applications in 6 weeks? More. We're here to hustle. You have to embrace that hard work. That's your new reality. I'm sorry. You have to be a hard worker. That's the only way to break out of that, struggling, all these average jobs, 50K jobs. And I did one interview yesterday. The bar for this interview is 195K base salary. 195. Bonus 20%. That's almost 40K. These are the numbers they've told me. If there's room to negotiate though, then there's RSUs. By the time you put everything together, you go to enter 300. It's not even Google. It's not. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's opportunities out there, but if you don't keep applying, you this is I don't like I said I get offer. Oh, I see they apply. Why? I don't understand. What's wrong with me? Still interviewing. I already have 4 interviews next week. More will come Monday morning. That's just my reality. Because my manager, one lady called me. She was like, "A manager is misbehaving." I mean, me and that lady we've spoken before, maybe around that May. But she's like, "Oh, a manager." And then she called me like last month, maybe 6 weeks ago. Like we chatted. She was like, "A manager is stressing her." So when she came around that May, she was like, "She's looking for work." But I gave her tips. She disappeared because there's no fire burning. And she came back 6 weeks ago and be like, "Oh my God, she thinks she's gonna get laid off the way her manager is moving." I gave her tips again. She said, okay. Like, I tell her, go and update your resume and come back to me. She said, okay. She disappeared again. Then I think 2 to 3 weeks after that time, she just called, she just came, just, "Oh my God, I finally got laid off. I'm ready now. I'm ready now." And I give her tips. See the way she action all those tips. Pop, 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 pop. Update CV, update LinkedIn, you know. 2 weeks later, she's like, "Oh, she's gotten 3 interviews." But now that you're getting 3 interviews, you now want to rush that process. That's not the way it works. It takes 3 months, maybe less, but minimum 3 months of hard labor. So you should have put in that energy that May. But because you get work. So like that's what I do. Is in the time of peace you prep for war. You just got this shiny new job, 60K. You know that's not the job you're looking for.
You're applying for like two different roles, and you decide to. I don't have a problem hibernating my LinkedIn, right? But I'm looking at it from how do you now find the work? Because most times LinkedIn is where I actively search for those roles, and I have transferable skills to do something else. It's not my core, but yes, I have worked in that line.
Hmm.
How do you navigate that? Because I'm opening myself to like more opportunities if I toe that line.
Yeah, so I think I mean we're not making a recommendation for folks to like hibernate their LinkedIn. So what we're saying is if you want to, the first recommendation is do not find a way to make sure that your LinkedIn captures the roles you're applying to. Apply to adjacent roles, right? And your one LinkedIn, one CV can cater to those roles because adjacent roles means they're like, for example, I'm in marketing, so product marketing, brand marketing, partner marketing, events marketing, those are like adjacent roles, right? So you can, but in your experience, maybe you have that diversity of experience. So one LinkedIn can capture it. But if you want to like hibernate your LinkedIn for whatever reason, that's like your choice, right? And there's a reason why you're doing that. So like the first recommendation is do not because it gives you opportunities. Recruiters will always want to go check out your LinkedIn, but maybe you're applying to like different roles and you don't want your LinkedIn to tell different. But that's like a personal decision. I don't know if that answers your question. So like the decision to hibernate your LinkedIn is yours. But if you're applying to add like different roles, a diversity of roles, your LinkedIn cannot say something different because you're shooting yourself in the foot. And like the examples that you just gave, especially in Canada, those might, put you at a disadvantage. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Mm.
Okay. So I would say bottom line, what I advise is know your space and focus on that space. In every space there are adjacent roles, like um Joel said, for example, in AML, there are like adjacent roles where there's transferable skills in those roles. So that's still like one domain with adjacent skill sets, and that becomes your space. So you can move around within that space. But me now, I'm a product marketer. I'm not applying for project manager roles at the same time. Like my first question to people is, I always say, why? Like, why do you want to do that? And then they will probably say, I'm not getting results in product marketing. I'm like, but there's reasons why you're not getting results. Can we focus on those reasons first of all? Because if you carry those same, quote unquote, habits to this project management, it's going to be the same result. Like I've met people that have moved around 4 different spaces in 4 months. Like stay in one place and go deep and put in the work and do your best. Do all, because it's the same thing you're going to experience. There is no magic role except you want to go do customer service, because obviously, those are like temporary spaces. So I always recommend stay in one space, right? And focus on that space. Be a master in that space. And then your LinkedIn is optimized to that space because that's your space. And if you want to move around, like you can move around within that space because you have experience in there, one way or the other. But like applying to like different roles in different space, even if you get those interviews, you won't even you're not a master, you don't have subject matter, you know um expertise, or subject yeah, you're not an expert in that subject matter, so it's going to be hard for you to even compete. Getting interviews is just the first step. You have to really showcase your abilities and why you should get hired in that space. I say to people all the time, you can do 20 interviews and you don't even go past hiring manager. That becomes a function of your skill set, your competence, and how you're telling your story as to why you're the best person for the role. So it starts like is when is interviewing. Like when you start interviewing, that's when the game starts. So getting interviews, you could get interviews in so many different places, but in spaces. But are you even an expert in that space? Because if I start applying project manager roles, I'm going to struggle to like position myself as a leader, especially if I'm applying to manager roles in project management, except I'm trying to apply to entry level roles. So I feel like sometimes it just complicates because we're in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? You're in a hurry because you didn't do what you were supposed to do what you were supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. You can't rush job search. It takes 3 months plus or minus. 3 months of doing all the right things. So like there's no need trying to rush it. You have to put in the work because everybody is searching for work. Like I said the last time, even the government is legislating immigrants out of Canada because they want Canadians to be able to get jobs. It's hard for everyone to get jobs. So it's not just about you. It's just gonna be way harder for you. But it's already really, really hard for even Canadians. Yeah. Thank you, sir. And in addition to that, you can hear from everything Joel is saying, it's about subject matter expertise. Because if that space is not your space, you won't be able to, use keywords to show expertise and masteries and optimize so that you can rank, in SEO. So it still comes down to what's your space. You can't, it's not advisable for you to be like, you know, dancing around like why today you're a business analyst, tomorrow you're a product manager, tomorrow you're a product manager. Like I think there's power. That's my own job search strategy. Like I don't know, someone else might say something else, but like there is power in focus, so that you can learn that your space, know it very well, and when you interview, you showcase that mastery. It's very important to be a master in your space. It's very important, right? So I think that's the first thing I always say to people, like, what role are you applying for? I said this before, I personally don't encourage, that's me personally. I always say personally because a lot of people have, but I don't encourage people to transition, especially if you're an experienced professional, you've worked for 5, 6 years. I don't advise you to transition. That's why I was asking in Consular, I think it's in Consular Damola. I was asking her earlier, like when she was in Nigeria and that accounting thing in Damola, what she did, like how many years? I think she said like 1 to 2 years. So she's moving to GRC. That's fine, because the 1 to 2 years it wasn't like she had built significant expertise or mastery in accounting. So it's okay for you to switch. But if you've done 6 years in Nigeria in one particular space, and then you come to Canada and you want to be a cybersecurity, I don't know. So are you fine with an entry level role, 60K, and you have 2 kids? Like that's okay, but I don't encourage that. I always encourage that space where you're a master, where you have expertise from Nigeria. Leverage on that skill set, that experience that you've built to be a master, because that's what would show up in your interviews. It's not just about interviewing. Getting interviews is not hard. It's just quality and volumes. You get interviews, but are you able to convince the interviewers that you're the right person for the job? That's the real work. That's the part that takes time, right? So you can see those um, corollaries and those points even in like his arguments about how to optimize your LinkedIn. Because if you're optimizing your LinkedIn for a particular space, that 1 month later you want to go and change it to something else. The search engine has not even fully like crawled your keywords to rank you as a top player for recruiters that are searching to even be able, and now you've changed it again, like, so you're just all over the place, right? You want to pick a space, be a master in that space, and begin to build subject matter expertise. And then patient, you have to be patient in your job search as well. It's not magic. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks or in 1 month. You can't rush it. That's why you should start early. If you have a job now that you don't like, start. Don't say my job is too busy, I don't have time to apply. You want to wait till you get laid off or you get fired or something goes wrong, then you now be in a hurry. You're trying to rush the process. Start now where you're not under pressure. You have the 60K job, but you can do better. You want 90K. Start now. Create artificial scarcity and start putting in that energy now. Optimize your LinkedIn. Have a strong CV. Start applying en masse. Create time for for interviews. You want to just be complacent in this your job that's this is not the job of your dreams or your customer service job or your 60K job. You want more. You have to constantly put yourself out there because I think that's one of the reasons why people want to rush job search. You can't rush it. There are a lot of people I coach from Nigeria. I tell them simulate scarcity, start applying from Nigeria, but they don't go hear word. That's what Chuka did different. He started searching from. You need to be aggressive. You need to be proactive because once you land in this country, you're going to be under pressure. Then you want to rush it. You want to happen in 3 weeks. It's not going to happen in 3 weeks. Customer service can happen in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Then you now be stuck in customer service again for 1 year. Why are you in customer service and you're not still up? Customer service is just a placeholder to pay your bills. You have to still be applying. You do your 10 a day, right? Because I think that's why I meet a lot of people. They want to rush the process. They're like, oh, I'm tired. I've been interviewing. Okay, you're tired. You've been interviewing. I will now ask you questions to even see. Let me even evaluate this. You're tired. What's making you tired? How many applications do you do? When you're tired, but you're not even putting in the work. I think I'll get to you, Eunice. I think Farida, I saw your comments, and for me, I was like, even though you said you're motivated, I'm like, can't find the comment. But I think the comment was something like about, I'm motivated. I'm tired of interviewing. So great that you're motivated, but don't get tired of interviewing. Embrace the process. I the interview die, but I'm not tired because I know I'm going to eventually get a job. Do you know why I'm not tired? Because I'm not desperately searching, but I'm acting as if I'm desperately searching. So I'm in control of my reality. I'm not tired of losing my job. Sorry, I'm not afraid of losing my job because I know what to do if I lose it. I've already started preparing to lose my job. That's weird. I've already started planning to lose my job. Like what I would do the first 6 months, the income that I need, I'm already proactively, it's saved. And then the steps I was so nothing is the only time I was shocked, under pressure, and out of control was the first few months when I landed in this country. But I've taken back control. This is how I take back control. I apply all the time. I find the time, no matter how busy I am, I find it. Sometimes, you know, there's a lot going on. I find the time, even if it's at night. Sometimes I sleep late. Last night I slept like 1:30 because my weekends I maximize it. I maximize my weekend. And I'm gonna be coaching here today now until like 1 p.m. my time or 12 something. So I'm just constantly like I'm productive. You have to be productive because I know 60% of all this work is pouring water inside baskets. That's your reality. Embrace it. I'm fine with that. What do I do with the remaining 40%? How do I optimize that 40% to get me results? That's my own strategy to take back control because you're never truly in control in this country. You're never truly in control. Anything can happen. Like being laid off is normal. Getting fired is normal. Like even the law, they just fire you. They don't even give you a reason. 2 weeks notice. Sometimes 1 week notice. It's normal. Like you want to go and sue. How? It's told you just get fired. Like what you there's like they can fire you for no reason. It's okay because they're also trying to survive. Everybody's trying to survive. It's a very competitive, economy. It's very hard. The tariffs everywhere. The market. It's crazy times. There's no security. There's no safety. So this is not the time to rest on your oars and be chilling because you think your job is not safe. You don't want to wait till you lose it to act, and you may not lose it, but you get tired in it. So you don't want to. You don't. Please, you can't be. No disrespect, no shade. But Bukola, it's time to leave. 5 years is too long. Like you said, you're doing your manager's job. They no rate you. There's somebody they would double that salary and they'll rate you. It's out. He's waiting. It's 3 4 months away. 3 4 months of hard work. He's waiting. Like I don't know. But you also remember you're in this country to work hard. Like you're not in this company to get one small 670K job that you're balling up and down. You can't do that because you're not even safe yet. You're not secure yet. There's so much uncertainty in the land. Do you have that? You need a good job that you can save well. So if you're earning 60K, that's not a good job. You can't save with 60K, except you're 22 and you don't have worries. You don't have family. Most of these immigrants that come to Canada, they have families. Yeah, even if you don't have families, you have people at home. You don't come to Canada to just be basic. So you have to be ambitious. You have to keep pushing. You have a 60K job. You can get 90. So, but you must start it when you're not under pressure. Now that you have this customer service job, now is not the time to be like, oh God, I'm grateful, thank you, Lord. And you're now resting. There's no rest though for the week. There's no rest. You have to keep pushing. Because when there is no pressure, is the time to apply pressure. That's the time. That's not the time to rest. You don't want the system to put you under pressure. Then you now be rushing. Because 3 4 months is fine. Like I have 3 4 months to give, right? So Eunice, what's your question? I've not gotten to the interview aspect of the
Hi, Coach.
free talk. Hi.
Hi, Christine. You just shot a stray bullet at me when you were speaking earlier. We were talking about
Allah.
where you have 5 to 6 years experience, and you're
Mhm.
today a product manager, tomorrow you're a product owner, next tomorrow you're a business analyst. Sadly, that's my story, and I don't know if that's probably affecting my applications. So what I find is I don't usually get like a lot of applications if I'm streamlining to just one. So I try to do across my experience. So I have about 4 years experience as a product manager. I have 2 years experience as a business analyst and a product owner. So I'm going for anything in those lines.
Mhm.
And I try to do. I've seen lately. I've been doing about 6 to 10 AD at least. I feel like
What does lately mean?
so
Last
I think
2 days.
this month, prior to now, I average about 50 to 70 a month. But this month, I have tried to do at least, bad as a bad, 8 customized applications.
Are you
And
currently sorry to keep interrupting? Are you currently working?
no, I'm not.
Because I
So
know
yeah.
you. I know that we've been in sessions for like I don't know 3 4 months, right?
And we've only had a conversation once.
No, you've been. Are you not in my PMM sessions? I know this name.
No, no.
When did we have a
Yeah, we
session?
had a conversation.
When was
We
that?
not even had a full-on session yet.
When did we have a session? When
I
did we
think that was in September.
Are you sure? This name
Yes.
looks like an
Either
OG on
September
this
or
one.
August.
Maybe August. So the way I'm going with that is
Yeah.
because I'm sure you've been exposed to all this my applying for a mass and mass and mass.
Yes.
August, September, 3 months. But you just
Mhm.
started doing 7 to 10 in the last 2 weeks. Why? That's the problem. So tell us why.
So
Sorry, it sounds like I'm attacking
no,
you,
no,
but
no, it's okay.
I'm just
It's
being
okay.
practical.
So before now, I would typically do. I wasn't tracking myself. Like I just ensure that I wake up in the morning and apply to as many as I can. But
Hmm.
this month is when I started tracking to ensure that if I have not gotten to 10, I know I'm not done yet.
So
So
what
I
happened this
would,
month? Like why this month? Why the urgency this month
because
suddenly?
I feel like I probably have been slacking because I haven't put a box like a what they call it. I don't have a KPI
Mhm.
literally. So
But,
now
but,
that I
but,
have,
but I've given you KPI for months now. 10 a day.
but even I mean I have been trying to do that.
Okay.
I'm not. There are days I'll probably do 10. There are days I'll probably do 15.
Yeah, but
But
it's not, you're not
I
consistent.
wasn't consistent. Yes. So
Gotcha.
now I
Now you're
obviously try to be
consistent. Okay.
consistent. That's what it is. So I don't know if like um applying across the different
Mm-hmm.
job roles is what is affecting me or
Mm.
is not doesn't show subject matter expert because I'm saying I'm a product manager on my LinkedIn. That is, I'm a product
Mm-hmm.
manager today. I'm a business analyst tomorrow. I see that
Yeah,
these roles are kind of intertwined.
they're
There are
similar. Yeah.
certain things that might be unique to being a product manager, as opposed to being a business analyst. But being a business analyst and being a product owner, depending on your organization, can
Hmm.
sometimes, I mean, it will be tedious, yes, but it can be intertwined. So I don't know if I should just close my eyes to like one part and focus on, okay, so if it's product manager, I'm just doing product manager. But I think it will limit me to the kind of jobs I'm applying for.
Yeah, it's possible. So this is
Yeah.
what I would say to you. I always say to people, you know, especially someone like you, you're a product manager, you're a business analyst, you're data driven, you understand the power of data. I say to people, one of the reasons why it's very important to do volumes is so you can also collect data. If you've not done volumes for like 2 months, you won't really know what's working. So that I know product manager and business analyst are very similar and intertwined, but you have to say you have experience in both and you want to position as both. You should do that doing consistent volumes for 2 months and see what's working. If it's working, great. You don't need to fix it. It's not broken. But if you've not done that and you don't have data over time to collect and analyze accordingly, you will know what's working. So that's one of the powers of consistency. Because I mean, I've coached people that are in this same position, and I know over time, like business analysis, product manager, you're right, they're very similar. So if like I personally think if a recruiter sees, maybe last two roles, you're a business analyst, and now you're like your most recent role, you're a product manager, and applying for a product manager role. It may not. I don't think it would most likely be a red flag, but that's a theory, and you have to validate that theory with real life data, which is why the best time to started collecting this data was August. The second best time is last 2 weeks, which is fine. So I would say continue. Make sure you're doing your not 7 to 10, 10 to 15. For me personally, I don't really further no disrespect. I'm not like beating a dead horse, but to you and everyone in general, like let's try to do these volumes. It helps. It really helps. Like why not August? Okay, no problem. 2 weeks. But now that you're doing it, be consistent at it. For me, I swear to you, it changed my life. That's why I give my backstory of, oh, balling in Nigeria, moving here. Bro, like my first 4 months in this country, I did always follow Banket Talk. It was crazy. It was terrible for me. It was really bad. But like making sure I have a strong CV and focusing on my space and doing numbers, it's actually changed my life because I have interviews, I have control, I have confidence. You need to find your confidence. You get your confidence from interviewing a lot and getting in interviews and moving from stage to stage and knowing that that value you had back home, you still have it here. And I think all of that is worth. If I have to do 20 interviews a day, I'll do it. I say to people, I don't know. You just to find that. That's why I was like, why the urgency now? You need to find that strong why. For me, I mean, obviously the strong why is apparent because I have a family and I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Let me not go into gender roles or whatever, but it's important. My why is so strong. Like if I have to sleep 2 a.m. every day just to hit my numbers, I'll do it. Like what am I doing in my life in this country? I have to fend for my family. I need to pay my bills. I need to make sure everyone is comfortable. You know how hard it is in this country. Like, you're doing everything yourself, like chores. Like, you need financial power. So for me, that's my why. So I really struggle with, and no disrespect, again, I'm not being a business dead horse or whatever, but it's really hard for me to understand, like, why it's really hard for people to put in those numbers because those numbers quality. Because I know I remember your LinkedIn. You have a strong background. Your resume is strong. All that's missing is consistent volumes and you will get results. It's like magic. That's why I bring people here to give like what's it called? Is it like case studies, like people that have done it successfully? Last month, Abigail, you know, the results in the just 1 month of like just doing these things are simple. The playbook is very simple. Just 1 month, a strong CV, and you're applying consistently. By the time you get into your third, fourth week, you're going to start getting results. By your month two, it's like, the floodgates are open. You get results. So for me, those results, they're so worth it. Like no matter what I'm doing, no matter how busy I am, no matter how engaged I am in my home with chores, I always just find the time to put in those extra few hours to to get that my KPI and that my targeting. So for you, I know it's a long answer, sorry about that, but like simple answer is I can't tell you a yes or a no. Of course, it's always best sticking to one place. That's always like, best. But product manager, business analyst is very similar. I strongly, my theory would be with that CV, you will still get callbacks, but you need to do volumes, quality volumes for, 4 to 6 weeks to really know that, that's why I encourage people to collect data. I share trackers. This is my tracker to everybody. Track your applications because you need the data. Like my application has been very data driven. A lot of the things I say to us here is based off of 18 months of data driven applications. Like it's almost like I've had all the experiences because I've applied every single day for 2 years. Every single day. In fact, my first 6 months, I was doing minimum of 500 a month. I was a serious maniac because I don't really know what else I'm doing in this country. When I sleep, I'm having nightmares. So please, why am I sleeping?
Where do you find the openings? Because there was a
Yeah.
time
Okay.
last week where I don't know if it's the algorithm. I
Mhm.
had literally applied to every single thing I had on my LinkedIn. So I
Mhm.
go across LinkedIn, Indeed, Otta, Talentify. Now I just did Job Rights.
Mhm.
Yes, those are my five main job boards
Mhm.
that I apply to. Literally every time I was recycling, most times I'll see a job across job boards. I'd
Mhm.
literally apply to everything I could see.
Mhm.
And that was where I'm like, okay, let me even look for other things I could apply for. So where do you find these numbers to apply to?
I mean, it's the same. It's the same. All these job that you mentioned, and you're right. There's sometimes you feel like you've exhausted all the jobs, and that's okay. Like you won't go and manufacture jobs. You've exhausted all the jobs. I sometimes will go to US remotes, North America remotes. Sometimes I'll even go to like US, the ones that will say on site. I go still apply because I say to people a lot of times, part of the process in applying for jobs is interviewing, and interviewing starts with practice. So I sometimes interview to jobs I wouldn't even have taken. I most likely wouldn't get those jobs, like offer wise. It takes a lot to get an offer. So I sometimes go to like the US to get my applications in. So I would interview for those jobs and put in is like mileage. You're putting in your like 10,000 hours, to be stronger because when you're like right now, I say to people when it comes to our interviewing, I'm pretty dangerous. I know because I've interviewed so much. So sometimes I just interview just to practice. So when I've run out of Canada roles, US remotes, North America remotes, I'll apply to US, just random US roles and get callbacks and interviewing because I'm also like training. Interviewing is training. There's the level of confidence you get. It's very easy to build rapport, because you've done this too many times. It's muscle memory. You need to interview a lot. Part of getting a job is interviewing a lot. It's practice. So there's so many jobs. I say to people, you're 10, first 10, all these strong jobs, like a product manager, most product manager jobs, product manager, senior product manager, that's 6 figures, 120 to 200. Those jobs, your first 10 interviews will not turn into an offer. They're extremely competitive. There is X Amazon, X Google, X
Mm-hmm.
everywhere applying for those jobs. Why you? You need to figure that out through practice. So doing a lot of interviewing as part of your practice is very important. So when you've run out of roles, apply to all those other places just to get those interview hours in. And when you've done all and nothing else to do, that's okay. You've done your parts. But have you, like you said, you just started in 2 weeks. So do this for the next 2 months and let's talk again. Put it in those hours. When I check in with them, the energy is different. Like they get, you will get the results. Like you won't even have questions because you have data. You like yeah, you have to be in the field, seeing what's going on. They're asking you questions. You feel the questions today. Tomorrow you do better. You're improving. That's it. You need it's sales. You need a pipeline. Any good salesperson will tell you you need a pipeline because you don't know the prospect that's going to convert. And it's the Pareto principle. It's just showing up. That's just it. It's sales. But if you're not booking those meetings, you're not getting closer, to that 1, 2, 3 sale conversations. Like salespeople know, like it's 10% of your conversations that help you achieve your target, but you have to put in the 100% of those volumes. You need meetings in your calendar. That's the only way you're meeting your target. It's sales. Job search is sales. And you know everybody hates sales. So that's why everybody hates job search because it's hard. It's hard. But you have to do it because it determines your quality of life. So I mean in Canada. So you have to consistently. So for you, as far as I'm concerned, 2 weeks of data, it's not enough. You need more data. You need to be consistently putting in these numbers. In 6 weeks, let's have this conversation again. You see that your questions will be different because you're in the field. You know, you have real time um, experience. So I would say, of course, stick to one that is your biggest strength. Maybe that's project product manager, right? But you can also do both. But that's a theory. It's A/B testing. You're familiar with A/B testing. The
Yeah.
best way to know what's truly working is experimentation. That's why the best time to start is 3 months ago. Because
Yeah.
as you know, experimentation takes time. In marketing, when you're experimenting, you're potentially throwing money away. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
learn quickly so you can pivot quickly. Same thing in product management. You want to
Yeah.
pivot quickly so you can know what's working and then double down on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like please going forward, just no matter I say to people, even if the sky is falling, do your numbers. You need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Farida.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I just
Mhm.
realized that I'm not doing enough because I've been doing like 2 jobs a day, and some days I don't even do anything.
You must
But
be rich too.
I've been getting interviews. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
I've been getting interviews, so I feel okay. My CV, my resume is very strong for me to
Hmm.
still be getting callbacks. But I just booked a meeting with you for end of the month, and I just
Hmm.
want to know like if I can get more out of this because I know I'm good, like, but
Hmm.
I'm not doing enough. I'm not really pushing myself, and I need someone to like not really push me. I can't push myself. I just need someone
Hmm.
to guide me, and I would really appreciate it if you can be that person for me.
No, Allah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And like I always say, the guide, the playbook is, I mean, I'm happy we're going to book a call and have some additional conversations, but the playbook is strictly like, I like the fact that you think you're good. It's so important to know you're good. Confidence is so, like me, like my confidence. Ha, I did talk about interview. Very few product marketers are better than me in the world. They're like, oh, wow, such confidence. I'm like, yeah, it's true. I'm a global leader. I say with my chest. You get- then they'll
Oh,
ask me questions to test me. I've done the prep. I'll answer. So it's good to have like that confidence. It's important. But what's even more important than that confidence is putting in the work. Like you said, you do 2 to 3 a day, and you're getting interviews. Great. Like I say to people, 5 interviews a month is not enough of interviews because even when you're the best things in sliced bread, you're still going to get 67% rejection rates so that you
yeah.
level up with your absolute numbers. Because when you increase the 10% of $1 billion is $100 million, but 50% of 1 million is 500K. It's all about volumes. The more your volumes, that 33% looks like it's small. That 33% fighting chance, so not a bit looks like it's small, but once you increase your volumes, it becomes a lot. Like I said, I do an average of 20 interviews every month, like clockwork. But that's like the percentages are less than 10. And that's with like at this stage 2 years of optimizing my CV, knowing what's working. Because there will still be there's advice, there's tips I would share here, but there's also peculiarities to your unique situation and your industry, your vertical, things that only you can find out from being in the field. You have to be in the field, right? So that's for you. First off, after off the bat, I would say increase your volumes. You think your CV is working, fantastic. Increase the volumes to increase your incidence rate, your conversion rate. If you're doing 2 interviews a day, a week, increase your volume so you can now do 5. You already have the confidence, which is great. You think you're good, that's amazing. You think your CV is strong, fantastic. So let's increase because every time you increase your volumes, you're gaining time, 2 months, 3 months. Because time is the currency we don't have in this country. Everything is expensive. Every month is 6, 7K gone. Where is that money coming from? So you can't afford not to be extremely productive in this land where everything is expensive, right? So yeah, I think it's very. I feel like you're pretty self-aware. You know what to do. But happy to chat with you at the end of the month and take the conversation further. Hi, Abuchi.
Sorry, trying to unmute myself.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, everyone. Banky, thank you, and Tim, thank you very much for this exposition.
Yes, sir.
So, I sometimes it can be overwhelming, yeah, but as much as it is, we need to do our best and put on the work. So, I just want to ask because the only challenge I have is in tailoring,
Mhm.
and that can take some enormous time, trying to, because as much as we have our present job that we are doing, trying to also keep applying and
Mhm.
trying to make a target of 5 to 10 CV, so 5 to 10 application a day. You know, when we talk about that, you need to tailor to fit, like
Mhm.
critically tailor to fit, so that when it comes out, you stand out.
Mhm.
So averagely, what does it take to do that? And
Mhm.
even if we are using AI tools to be able to structure and then make it um, efficient and easy for us,
Mhm.
the question now is, because sometimes when you throw all this job description, throw your CV, do this, do that, and it churn out something out for you.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you pick it and look at it, it might not be giving you what you really need to um, put in. Because when we talk about how you lay your CV, um, the outcome, the action, the outcome, the result, because you can't
Mhm.
just word in anything and then you think you're done. No, you need to
Yeah.
put action. What was the action? What was the outcome? What is the result? So something like that, you
Mhm.
know. And when you want to do that, it sometimes AI might not be able to do that for you.
Mhm.
So my question now is averagely, and which other tool can we also engage or use to be able to make this thing efficient and easy for us?
Mhm. Okay.
Thank
Thanks for the question. I feel like CV review is not it's not like hard. It's just a few prompts here and there. You read what your AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini or whatever AI you're comfortable with. You put this prompt in there and you read. Basically, it's like I said the last time. A strong resume is the companies you've worked at. If you've worked at strong companies, your resume is gonna get a stronger chance, right? And then you put, because if you worked at, I don't know, Tire, I know, and Co, and then no matter how strong your achievements and bullet points, but there isn't that impact, global impact or reach. So that's kind of like limits your resume, right? But if you don't have those experience, then what do you do? You've had those conversations in the past. And I remember you've been in some of our sessions. But yeah, if Banker can share that video, the Zoom link. I think it's even in the group somewhere. You can search for it. Yeah, this even like you guys know, like I said, some people in the last month, if you're not able to do this 210 a day, like I started this service, trained like some people in Lagos these are the same prompts they use. It's just time and having like the presence of mind to just review. Once you get comfortable, it could take you 3 hours a day. Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, some people are busy; they don't have the time. So if you're willing to put that investment in, then you can also like use that service. I think we have about maybe like 9 to 10 people that are using it right now. So it's basically for those that don't have the time. I think even people that are using it on your end still apply. The more volumes, high quality volumes you put in, the better. And you obviously definitely need a strong CV to start with, right? So I think that's that about that. So now if we go into like interview hacks, first thing is about interviewing. I think I've you know given us a lot of context. At the back of your mind, know that you're not the chosen one. You're already at a disadvantage. So you have to do the most. You need to give them why should I hire you? This person is from it's a competitive market. There's lots of strong CVs out there. with strong brand names, strong schools. That's the main problem. It's not that you're not interviewing well, it's the fact that it's competitive. Just like the boats example that I gave. The day where boats no show up, I think is it Gatlin that this my bros. I can't remember. I don't forget the name. The day boats didn't show up, that other guy suddenly, yeah, Justin Gatlin, he suddenly won a gold because boats didn't show up. But the problem here is everybody's looking for work. So all the boats in, in your space are showing up every day. So why should I pick you? You need to double up. You need to show up differently. You need to have that at the back of your mind. You need to, every time you go into an interview, you have to be telling them why they should give you the gold over boats. That is the problem statement. So every time you open your mouth, know that is what you're trying to do. It's a pitch. You're competing. It's a competition. And people in your competitive sets, they also didn't come here to play. And they have a lot of things over you. So you're unequally yoked. They went to top schools, they grew up here, everything top, top, top. They are white, they speak Canadian English. You are just here with your weird accent and your dead school. Is the unfortunate truth. So why should, like, you're the underdog? Why should I give you this job? That's why it feels, every time you get a job, it feels like a miracle. But there's little things you can do, to flip that on its head.